your first reaction to a pea cloth was that it was kind of
Ugh.
gross. Yeah, and mine was too. I was like, that's a little nasty.
This is my show, gosh darn. What's up, friends? My name is Miranda, and this is Miranda in the Wild. So, you've probably heard me talk a lot about poop, but you haven't heard me talk about pee. In my experience in the outdoors, I have often just been the type of person that drip dries after I pee. I don't tend to carry toilet paper with me, and for a long time, that was just how I managed going to the bathroom. A couple years ago, though, I heard about a pee rag, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's something that you use to dab yourself if you're a person who squats when you pee, and then you just hang it on the outside of your pack and you let it dry. If you think that that's really gross, I totally understand, and I kind of felt the same way when I learned about a pee rag, but it's actually this awesomely revolutionary thing that you can use to feel way cleaner, way more hygienic, and also it's a lot more Leave No Trace friendly than packing out toilet paper or obviously burying your toilet paper in the ground. So when I first learned about a pee cloth, it was actually recommended to me to use a bandana. The problem with carrying a bandana was that I didn't always remember which one was my pee rag and which one was my cloth for drying dishes. I don't know if I want to tell that to people. So I started using a bandana, and from there looked into using scraps of fabric, and recently I learned about a brand called Kula Cloth, which is the first ever technical pee rag. I want to be clear that this video is not sponsored by Kula in any way. I'm just really intrigued at how something like a scrap of fabric has turned into this entire community and a company. So I want to talk to Anastasia, the owner and founder of Kula Cloth, about her ideas behind the technical pee rag. Kula Cloth.
So Kula cloth, like what? Obviously, I know what a Kula cloth is now. I have mine here, but like, what is Kula cloth, and when was it founded, and like, what was the big launching point for creating a technical pea cloth?
So Kula Cloth is the very first of its kind. It is an intentionally designed antimicrobial pee cloth for anybody who squats when they pee. I officially launched the business in July of 2017. The idea for Kula came to me on a backpacking trip in 2016. I guess I have to backtrack a little bit. I was on a personal backpacking trip of my own, and I was really frustrated by how much toilet paper I just saw sort of discarded. So I came home and I found an article about using a pea cloth. And quite honestly, my very first reaction was, that is disgusting. Like, that is so gross. Like, who would do that? But I was a backpacking instructor. And so I remember thinking to myself, okay, I should at least try it. So I went out and I bought this really ugly piece of fabric, attached it to my backpack, and went out on a backpacking trip and was shocked to find that I loved it. It was a total game changer. I was no longer hauling in and out a bunch of toilet paper. I felt much cleaner and more comfortable because I wasn't like drip drying. So then, sort of fast forward, I'm on this backpacking trip with my husband in the Wind River Range in Wyoming. And as a joke, I had this sort of ridiculous idea that I was going to take these photographs of my pea cloth in a variety of beautiful settings, and it's right at sunset, and I take this ugly scrap of blue fabric and I kind of position it on my trekking pole, and I'm like getting into position for this like dramatic pea cloth photo. And I can't even make this up. It was like an idea just sort of pops into my head that said, why isn't that a real piece of gear? I remember thinking, I wonder if I designed this intentionally, would more people be less squeamish about the idea? And then could it also open up this bigger conversation around hygiene as well? Uh, and that was sort of thinking back to my own first backpacking trip where I had felt uncomfortable asking, like, how do I handle peeing on a
Right.
backpacking trip or on a hike? And I went home after this backpacking trip and initially sort of experienced a lot of excitement around this idea until I started researching buying fabric and how to make a product and start a company. And very quickly, all of these fears that I had around leaving my job or starting a business and looking stupid or failing these sort of very limiting beliefs started to pop up, and I kind of shut myself down before I let myself even get started. And I started to question whether or not those fears were real or if they were imagined. And I started taking little steps after that to pursue this idea that I had had about this pea cloth. Now, there were some things that I kind of had to get over in the beginning, such as I don't know how to sew. This is my very, very first attempt at sewing a Kula cloth. So as you can
Great.
see, yeah,
Really
as
good.
you can see, it's not really even one shape. It's more of like multiple shapes. There's a lot going on here. It didn't go well at first, but I just kept practicing. Now here we are, I guess 3 years later, and it's sort of morphed from this into this.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a dramatic transformation.
Like, I don't want to badmouth your first Kula, but it's definitely
No,
grown a lot.
it has. And this one is really still special to me because it really represents that all ideas start somewhere.
Totally.
And I mean, I didn't just all of a sudden have an idea for a pea cloth and then this just sort of popped out of nowhere. It has been this evolution. And for me, I think the most important part has been just believing it was possible the whole time and not needing to know all the answers, just trusting that they were going to come find me.
Now that you've like mastered the Kula cloth technique, or now that you have this business off the ground, I guess I would love to hear like what makes a Kula cloth technical.
The fabric is specifically designed for hygiene. So it is an antimicrobial fabric. It has a waterproof side, which is the print side, and then it has an absorbent side. Then the other parts of the Kula are the label and the snap. There is a strip of a super high-tech retro reflective thread, and so you'll be able to find it in the middle of the night with your headlamp. And then I guess the final part of the Kula is that we do print this really cute art on it. All of our prints are done in collaboration with artists who we pay for their design, so they're usually receiving a commission. If it's not done in collaboration with an artist, it's very often done in collaboration with a nonprofit. And so a portion of proceeds are then going back into a nonprofit. When I had the idea for this business, I remember people telling me nobody would ever want to buy a pea cloth with art on it. And I felt very strongly that art needed to be on it because there is nothing shameful or embarrassing or gross about having to go to the bathroom. And I think the more that we can talk about that without shame being associated with having to pee, and the more we can normalize that, then the more likely people are going to be to spend more time outside. That to me is really, really exciting, knowing that people are getting out on the trail more comfortably and that hygiene issues are not a barrier for access.
There is definitely a leave no trace principle to Kula as well, right? Do you think that that's like part of the conversation piece when people carry a Kula?
Absolutely. The conversations that happen around Kula are usually about leave no trace. For some people, Kula might be their very first introduction to the concept of leave no trace or zero waste. And if this little piece of gear can introduce people to those ideas, then I think that's a win for everybody. What Kula has really taught me is that not knowing how to do things is not a barrier to be able to actually do them. Like, even if you don't know how to do something, somebody out there does know how to do it. That to me has been the most meaningful part of all of this. It's like the gear is cool and having a business is fun, but like genuinely connecting with people is what I love the most.
Well, Anastasia, thank you so much. If someone wanted to find out more information about a Kula cloth, where would they do that?
So you can do that on our website, which is kulacloth.com. Kula is also being carried by REI now. And you can also follow us on Instagram.
Awesome. Great. And of course, say hi to your fellow Kula users on the trail, right?
Yeah, give them the wink.
That's right. The wink. All right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Miranda.
I hope you all enjoyed this conversation as much as I enjoyed having it. If you haven't used a pee rag before, do you think that you'll try it out now? If you have any of your own fun stories from peeing on the trail, leave those in the comments below. And if you haven't already, go ahead and like this video, hit subscribe, and I will see you all in the wild.
That. Oh, that's great.
I have this in earphones.
I'm so sorry.
Really zoomed into that one.